Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yes.
All right. Well, one more time, we'll call this meeting to order and start and proceed. First item on the agenda tonight is invocation and pledge to the flag. Commissioner Hester with the prayer and Commissioner Ford with the pledge. Please stand.
Shall we bow? Dear God, we thank you for this beautiful county that we live in, and we ask for your guidance and leadership this evening. We are so privileged to live here, and we're privileged to gather tonight in this place. And dear Lord, I ask a special blessing on all of our service individuals in uniform, ladies and gentlemen who serve with our Sheriff's Department, with our police department, and our men and women who are in uniform all over the world. We just ask you to bless them and help them to feel lifted up this evening. And I ask these things. Thank you, God. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we'll have roll call. If you push your present button and confirm. Record the roll, Ms. Anderson.
Cheryl Wilson.
All right, and I have heard from all of those, and they are unable to attend, and so they will be missed, but we will catch up with them next month. Next is approval of minutes of the March 11th, 2013 County Commission meeting. Copies were mailed to each commissioner. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Hayes, Commissioner Cook, the second. Any additions to those minutes? I see none. If you're in favor of those minutes, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And they pass. Introduction and acceptance of Highway Commission minutes. Copies were mailed. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Little, the second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And they are approved. Next, we have citizens' communication. We have two that have signed up. According to our rules, we'll give you 3 minutes. Each person, if you'll come up and state your name and your address and speak into the microphone at the podium. The first constituent we have is Laura Turner.
Thank you, Commissioner. My name's Laura Turner. I live at 1108 Dickinson Lane, Franklin. Here, first off, on an article I saw in the shelter, in the paper regarding the shelter and a proposed euthanasia fee that would be charged to people bringing an animal that has some type of end of life choice that they have to make to the shelter for euthanasia. I believe last year there were 9 such euthanasias, and this article states that the shelter's proposing charging for that. Particularly in these difficult times, which many of us have been affected with, the shelter, which has its doors open for all animals that need sheltering in Williamson County, animals that need this service particularly need to have it provided kindly, humanely. And there is the aspect that some of these animals potentially could be carrying health issues. And so to have them humanely dispatched at the county shelter kindly and humanely and according to law would, I believe, be something that the shelter should be providing. On the other hand, I believe fees could be increased for particularly rescue groups that go into the county shelters, not just in Williamson, but in other places, and get completely vetted out animals at taxpayers' expense and then turn around, in many cases, adopt them for quite a bit of money. So that could be, a way to generate some fees, but certainly not at people bringing animals with intellect choices and asking the county to provide that. And then the only other thing was I passed out a fact sheet regarding Old Natchez Trace. It's on the County Highway Department's roads to pave this year. And we, many of us in that area, and of course it's quite a lot of attention's been focused on it now, respectfully request that this oldest still operational road in the U.S. be treated with a sensitive template that is unique to the county, and that every tool that is out there be looked at to provide Old Natchez Trace the basically respect that it concerns. On this 4 miles are 9 historic register sites and a stone monument that the Daughters of the American Revolution have erected. So arguably, it is probably the crown jewel of Williamson County, and many would say of Tennessee. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. The next person we have is Kim Sharp.
Good evening. My name is Kim Sharp, and I live at 2528 Old Natchez Trace. Thank you all for the service that you give to our community. I appreciate you all. I wanted to add to what Laura had to say and bring to your attention that the folks along Old Natchez Trace, as well as in the communities that surround Old Natchez Trace, as well as other organizations, are very interested in making sure that you all are aware that we agree with what Laura said. We need to have a sensitive template. Some of the groups that we have contacted and expressed interest in helping save the trace include the Nature Conservancy, the Southern Environmental Law Center, the Tennessee Historical Commission, the Ancient Sites Conservancy, the Harpeth River Watershed, the can't read my writing. Governor Haslam has expressed his concern, as well as several news outlets. So we have a lot of folks who believe that this is worth the time, effort, and energy to bring a sensitive template. As Laura said, this is one of the oldest roads in the United States. It has 9 historical markers and other entities along the roadway. It has historical significance to our community in that it does help drive historical tourism into this community. People come specifically to see the trace. It brings folks into our community. The Smithsonian Institute documented Stonebox Indian artifacts dating back to the period from 900 to 1450, which I have to say is quite an incredible factoid, as well as the significant events from the Civil War that took place along that area of our community. So I think all of you kind of recognize that it has some significance to it. And I think that many of you all have heard the Bible quote that to whom much is given, much is expected. And I think we have a lot to be responsible for here. We said the pledge to the flag, and this is one of the places in our country that reflects so many different periods and eras and significant events. And so I hope that you will support us as well as our community in making sure that the Highway Commission does put forth the effort. We know that that the mayor has been working in the right direction to help ensure that we have the right review, the right engineering, the right perspective brought to the trace, but we would like to make sure that you all are aware and able to join in this commitment as well. And the last thing that I might say is that for those of you all who are familiar with construction work, et cetera, I had the recent experience of watching the rebuild in Percy Warner Park. And granted, it's right across the county line, but following the floods, there was some significant damage there that looked like an earthquake had taken place. And when they repaved that road, the construction trucks that came through that area, they actually, they caused quite a bit of damage to the roadway as well. And so that had to be then retrofitted. So and I will I'm wrapping it up. The road bed itself is foundation for protecting the stone walls and keeping them intact. And the trees are foundation for keeping the riverbanks intact. So we know we all together have a big job in front of us, but I appreciate y'all's support in this area. Thank you.
Thank you. Communications and messages. We have a late file resolution tonight, and it's on the agenda. It's Resolution 5/1333, and it's in your packet, and if there's no objections, we'll hear that. And I believe it's at the end of appropriations, isn't it? Yeah, it is at the end of appropriations, so if there's no objections, we'll hear that, and that is on your agenda. I also like to thank Deputy Calvani and Deputy Hayes. They're here, and we appreciate them. I'd also like to introduce Ashley, and I'm Duchesneau, and I told her, I warned her I'd get that wrong. So she works in the mayor's office, and we'd like to welcome her, and I think it's going to be an asset. So thank you and welcome. So moving on, we've got reports of county offices. Mayor Anderson is in Brentwood, giving the oath of office to some new elected officials, and he will be here shortly. But if I may, I'll call on Nina and have her come up and give her report under his section. Nina?
Thank you, Chairman. This evening in your packets, we have 2 months of reports. Your budget reports for the month end of February and March. We're tracking on target for this time of year. Also, you have your February and March privilege tax reports. We're still trending in a growth in that area. We have our Cool Springs Conference Center reports for the month of February. The county collected $13,210.72. In the month of March, we received $22,493.26. I've also included in your packet a profit loss statement for the Cool Springs Conference Center. And each month, I'll just start including that in your packet for you. We also have a letter from the State Comptroller's Office where they approved our bond anticipation notes, and those were issued for the General Obligation School Public Improvement Bond Anticipation Note Series 2013B and the County District School Bond Anticipation Note Series 2013A. You'll also have your CT 0253 forms for each of those. That's all I have. If you have any
questions for Nina? Commissioner Barnwell?
I'd like to thank you very much for looking at historical perspective on the conference. No, I think it was very useful.
Thank you.
Mayor Anderson is en route, but we'll go on and recognize him when he gets here. We'll move on. Dr. Mike Looney.
Good evening, everyone. We have 6 days of school left. Looking forward to all the graduation ceremonies that follow. I will say that it's been a very busy but productive year. We will soon be announcing the total scholarship awards for the district, and I think you'll be pleased to know that we have record scholarship dollars coming in to the district. We have 5 resolutions for your consideration tonight. I do ask that you vote in support of those. Other than that, I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Dr. Looney? Commissioner Danner?
Dr. Looney, it's been a while since we've had a meeting, so I have three things, if I could
Yes,
just
ma'am.
get you to address briefly.
Sure.
One is the new Northeast High School. I was talking to a couple school board reps, and there seems to be some confusion, and I just thought I'd give you the opportunity to kind of put it on the record as far as, whether your capital plan is still on track. Is the new school intended to open in 2015 or 2016?
That's a hard question to answer tonight. The current capital plan is for 2015. Having said that, when we get the enrollment numbers solidified for the upcoming year, that will be a better predictor to decide whether we can continue to adhere to that timeline or possibly back it up. I'm hopeful that we can back it up, but I'm not certain.
Okay. Just because you would need to ask for the intent to fund the design like now in order to open it 2015. So when exactly do you think you'll have an answer? That'll be when we have the enrollment numbers?
August.
August,
And then
okay.
we typically bring the five-year capital plan back as an independent item to both the school board and the county commission. I don't think that this upcoming year will be any different.
Okay. And the second thing is this high school AP Human Geography textbook that's been in the newspaper. Can you just walk us through where you are in the process of reviewing that book and whether it'll return to our school system next year? My understanding is, I think you needed a formal complaint and to initiate that process, and one has been filed. So just, if you could just tell us where you are with that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your question. We do have a complaint or a reconsideration document filed. We have charged the committee to begin the review process. The first step in that review process is they have to read the entire text. They can't just read one section of it. So they're spending time reading right now. I will say that hopefully we can get this matter resolved shortly after school lets out. I don't think it will be, we'll be ready for the next board meeting. So my guess is sometime in June we'll know whether we're going to ask y'all for additional funding for a different book or continue with what we have.
Okay, and then lastly, this free computer and free car contest that's been swirling around. I understand that it was asked at the last budget committee meeting, which I didn't attend, the education budget committee meeting, that no tax dollars will be spent on those giveaways. So I guess I'm to understand they're coming from the Education Foundation, and if so, have they even had their first fundraiser yet? I'm just curious to where you're going to get the free stuff.
Well, I'm giving the first $1,000. I'm hoping I can count on you give the second 1,000.
Second.
Get a president of your foundation and we can talk. I just hate for you to give away things without having the checks in the bank.
Well,
That's my
we're
concern.
not giving anything away without having the funds, obviously. To be honest with you, I have talked to the rising senior class, and I'm so glad you asked this question because I want to celebrate where they are. 73%. 3 out of every 4 students in Williamson County that are going to be seniors next year have already qualified for the Hope Scholarship, which is $16,000 in their parents' pocket for college. That has never been done in this district before. I would venture to say it's never been done in the state, although I don't know that for a fact. Having said that, the board's goal, based on our strategic plan, is to get to an average composite of 24. As you know, we have some schools that are significantly above a 24, some that are getting closer to 24. And so I met with the junior, soon-to-be senior class and challenged them to come up with ways to increase the ACT composite score so that every person that graduates from a Williamson County public school is eligible to receive the Hope Scholarship. And we came up with 2 ideas. The bottom line is, if we move forward with this endeavor, it's a student-led endeavor. My responsibility is to support their work. So this is a student-organized and led endeavor. And what we decided, or what we're chewing on, is if a student makes a 21 or higher on the ACT, their name would go into a drawing for a new vehicle. This district has done that before with the support of private entities. I have talked to the Education Foundation about the possibility of supporting that. There have been no commitments made, either by the student body of each of our high schools or by the Education Foundation, but feel comfortable that we could raise that money locally to get a card to incentivize students attempting to get qualified for the Hope Scholarship. The good news about that is that for every point above a 21 that a student would be at, their name would go into the drawing one more time. So if they were at 22, they would go in twice. If they were at 23, they'd go in 3 times, et cetera, all the way up. So that, if we did that, that would not cost the taxpayers a dime. It would be a gift, hopefully from either a local corporation or citizens such as myself. The laptop initiative is for the purpose of remediating and intervening for those students that do not have a 21 on the ACT composite now. And the thinking or the strategy would be for the students that already have above a 21, they would use the laptop to help tutor and mentor the students that don't have a 21. So they would each get a laptop. The ones that have above a 21 would be required to do 50 hours of tutoring of the students that don't have a 21. And in exchange, at the end of the year, if they met their requirement, then feasibly they could keep the laptop. If the student doesn't have a 21 and they get to a 21 and submitted themselves to tutoring, then they too could keep the laptop. I actually have had 2 conversations with an extremely popular and wealthy business owner of a major computer company, and believe that we have the beginnings of a very strong relationship to support that effort. I don't want to compromise the confidentiality of those conversations, but I feel very good about our ability to partner with a very, very, very large computer manufacturer to support that work. Does that answer your question?
One last follow-up.
ma'am.
I don't have a problem with the contest. I think it's creative, and I
Yes,
applaud your out-of-the-box thinking. But I do have parents that are concerned that their kids are being approached and promised, and assemblies are being held before you have the checks in the bank, before you have the computers. And because this body, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we are going to have to vote on a free car or on free computers.
No,
Just-
ma'am, you don't have to.
We
vote on
did
it.
have to for the car that was donated to the sheriff's department, so I'm not sure why we wouldn't need to in this case. But
Yeah.
if you could just, on behalf of the parents that have called me, and hopefully have called you too, maybe not promise kids things without having everything all set. And if it's the foundation that's going to provide this, I would think the foundation would roll out the contest and not the superintendent of schools. That's my only complaint.
Thank you for your input, Ms. Danner.
Any other questions? Mr. Williams?
You turned it back on. It was on, you turned it off. Is it blinking? Push the button. I know, I was waiting for you to get finished. Now you're on.
Dr. Looney, I want to ask you this question regarding one of the resolutions, and maybe we can save a lot of debate tonight. It's a resolution where we amended in the Budget Committee down to $25,000 on that resolution.
Yes, sir.
And of course, one of the things that came up during that, you were basically requesting 2 things in that resolution. One was to pay the 2 teachers that were needed for 30 days, and then the other was the sort of catch up on what was needed. It's my understanding that if we, and correct me if I'm wrong, if we approve as amended for the $25,000, would you be able to bring next month in a separate resolution those other requests?
I need to confer with my CFO for a moment, please.
Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Williams, anything is possible, so I don't want to say no. I think the long and short of it, and I do have some updated figures for the commission's consideration. If you want me to give those as part of my answer, I'd be glad to, or unless you want to wait until that time.
Well, I'm just trying to cut short the debate on that resolution because it's a big difference between $25,000 and $500,000. So,
Yes, sir. We'll do, obviously, whatever the commission directs us to do. At the end of the day, you know, if you don't approve the resolution, we still have to pay the teachers. They're under contract. And so we would be out of compliance and have an audit finding if we didn't have enough money in that particular line item. Whether we come back in June, the school board has already voted on it. The school board already has the agenda for their May meeting. So we would have to most likely have a special call school board meeting to deal with it in June prior to the county commission meeting. So I suppose it's possible. I don't know how prudent it is, given that, you know, we're not hiring anybody else. We're only simply asking to move the funds to the proper line items to pay the people that are under contract.
can you say in the future, when you ask for this kind of, instead of putting two requests in one resolution, that we would have a separate resolution?
Yes, sir. I commit to doing it, and I apologize that we didn't do it to start with.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Barnwell?
Yeah, this is probably a question more for Jeff. Couldn't they recall that resolution since it was passed by the school board and amend it themselves down to the other number and bring it back forward to us, even if it's a non-agenda item?
I don't know about their particular procedures and such, but if they had a motion, if someone with the prevailing side
Correct.
brought that back as a reconsideration, they could in fact do that. I don't know about the public notice requirements under their particular procedures.
Well, your meeting's not till when?
Thursday is the work session.
Okay, but the actual meeting?
Monday.
Monday.
That'd be a question of if it was adequate notice or not.
Okay. That's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? I see none. Thank you, Dr. Lou. I'd like to call on Law Enforcement Committee, John Hancock.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Judge Guffey has asked for, to be able to address the commission and bring us up to date with some good things that's happening in juvenile services, juvenile court. If that's okay with you.
Yes.
I was waiting
I
for
was
the,
somewhere else.
thank you, Commissioner Hancock and Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. This is the first time that we have been able to give you a report since you created our juvenile court, our special juvenile court, and I thought perhaps you might like an update as to what we've been doing for the last almost 6 months. We have a lot of our staff here tonight, and I'd like to recognize them. Brenda Hyden, of course, our clerk is here, and Betsy Adjent, our director. Josh Rogers, our part-time magistrate, is also present, along with a lot of our staff. I have submitted a packet I think that you all have received, and so I'm just going to go through real quickly some of the highlights that we've done. In January, we immediately reached out to our law enforcement agencies to assist us with our in-home detention checks. When a child is charged with an offense, typically they are released to their parents and placed under some court orders until they come back for their court date. And one of those is called house arrest or in-home detention. We asked our law enforcement agencies to assist in doing some random checks, going to the door, making sure that the child is at home where they're supposed to be. And surprisingly, all of our agencies, from Jeff Long Sheriff's Department to Franklin Police, Spring Hill Police, Brentwood Police, Fairview Police, all of them have collaborated with us and have been doing these checks for us. And I can tell you that the word has gotten out amongst our young people that a police officer may show up, and it's been very, very effective. We're putting a special emphasis on more closely monitoring drug offenses. We know that most of the adult criminal justice system is filled with crimes as a result of drug use, and we believe that serious consequences as a juvenile can help decrease the adult offenders in our system and provide for a safer community. We also began a partnership with Animal Control, our Williamson County Animal Control, where they began bringing a friendly dog to our court one day a week with the children that we have in foster care. We have been amazed at the overwhelming success of this program,
and the ability of these dogs. We actually have one dog that has adopted us, a Great Pyrenees, that comes every Tuesday, and the children have just amazingly taken to this dog, and it has decreased their anxiety and stress in a way that we just could not have anticipated. We have compiled local rules of practice for our juvenile court. These are specific to our court and assist in clarity and uniformity for attorneys and the general public. We have revised our website on the county web page to include more details of who we are and what we do. We have begun a parental awareness campaign to reach out to our community with information and education on current trends with our young people. We recently had our first presentation at Independence High School on texting, sexting, and all things cyber, and had great participation. Over 150 parents were there. We had local law enforcement, an FBI agent, the district attorney's office, our sheriff was there. We believe that our juvenile court should be a resource for all parents, whether or not their children come through our doors. We've done a presentation for the Williamson County Bar Association. We've spruced up our lobbies with some great artwork from our Williamson County schools. We've continued touring our high school. We've been to Independence, Summit, Page, Fairview, and Centennial in an effort to increase our presence in the community. In addition to participating in the health initiatives with the Benefits Department, in January we set a weight loss goal amongst ourselves and have collectively lost 242 pounds. We have a marathon runner, Chris Holtz, who's here, and a master swimmer, Greg Marion. And while we are not a revenue-generating business, as we're limited by law as to how much we can collect, since January, Brenda Hyden's office has collected about 10% more per month in revenue to the county. And since 2010, when we started really enforcing our collection, our revenues have increased almost 50%. There's a lot more to be done. We ultimately would like to implement a probation department because we know that supervising and monitoring high-risk youth is essential to decreasing crime, truancy, improving graduation rates, and making our county safe. We know that as our economy improves, we need to move out of the sheriff's space and into our own facility or a shared facility with other agencies. And it's important to have a vision for the future and plan for the future. And we'd like to begin that conversation so that we're ready when the time comes. But most of all, we just want to thank you for the opportunity that you've given us and to let you know that we are truly enjoying what we're doing. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Judge Guffey? I see none.
Thank you.
you. I see the mayor has arrived, and do you have a report, Mayor Anderson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no additional information except those folks that are from Brentwood. They're kind of curious who the mayor is, and it's Commissioner Betsy Crossley again.
Good.
But I think Nita gave my report. I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for the mayor? Commissioner Langston?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have had an opportunity in the last 7 or 8 months to work with some people in the juvenile court, and I'd like to say that I've never had a better experience and worked with a better group of people than this staff that is working over there and in support of our young people. And I back wholly what has been said by our juvenile judge.
Very good, thank you. All right, any other committee reports? I see none. So moving on to elections and appointments. We have Williamson County Regional Planning Commission to fill the unexpired term expiring of March of 2016. Resigned as John Kane. Nominee Brian Richter. Commissioner Hester. Commissioner Little, the second. Any other nominees? I see none. All in favor of Mr. Richter signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Yep. Brian, would you like to say a word or two? Come up and introduce yourself.
Good evening. Brian Richter from 1364 Caroline Circle, and I very much appreciate the opportunity and look forward to it. So, thank you.
Very good, thank you. Moving on, Emergency Communications District Board of Directors, filling an unexpired term expiring March of 2016. Districts 3 and 12 representative, deceased Tom Neal, nominee James Smith. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Little, Commissioner Green, the second. Any other nominees? I see none. All in favor of Mr. Smith signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Is Mr. Smith here? No? Okay. Next, for Emergency Communications, 4-year term expiring March of 2017, representative from the City of Franklin, term expiring Tom Fearborn, nominee Tom Fearborn. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Barnwell, Commissioner Brandon Ryan, the second. Any other nominees? I see none. If you're in favor of Mr. Fearborn, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And he is confirmed. Next, Hospital Board of Trustees. Do we take these all at one time? Terms expiring, Jack Walton, Jim Cross, Mary Mills. Nominations, Jack Walton, Jim Cross, Mary Mills. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Hancock and Commissioner Bain, the second. Any other nominees? All in favor of these nominees signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And they pass unanimously. And I abstain, yes. Okay. So there we go. Consent agenda. I guess notary's the only thing on the consent. The notaries are only item on the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Cook, Commissioner Little, the second, and they're on the machine, aren't they, Linda? All right. If you're in favor of the consent agenda, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Got it? Okay, all right. Anyone wish to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes.
Consent agenda
0
passes.
no.
All right. No unfinished business, no new business. Now we'll move on to zoning. We have a public hearing regarding Resolution 532. Oh, I'm sorry, 513-2. Resolution to amend the zoning ordinance text originally adopted May 14, 2012, as it relates to setbacks for non-conforming lots. If anyone would like to speak to this from the audience, please come forward and state your name and your address. And so the public hearing is now open. Anyone? I see none. Last call. All right, public hearing's closed. Now back to the resolution 513-2. This is a resolution to amend the zoning ordinance text originally adopted May 14th as it relates to setbacks for non-conforming lots. This is awkward, but I sponsored it. So Commissioner Hancock, Commissioner Little the second. Christie, you want to speak to this, or Mike, or Joe? There's Joe. Just you explain it a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. This is a pretty simple text amendment. We realized after the zoning ordinance was adopted and in effect that we did not include provisions that we felt like adequately addressed how to determine setbacks for those lots that didn't meet the minimum lot size requirement or that weren't required to be platted when they were created. So this simply This text amendment simply addresses those issues.
Okay. Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 513-3, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Now we'll open the public hearing for Resolution 513-3. This is a resolution to amend the zoning ordinance text originally adopted May 14, 2012, as it relates to the inspection of non-traditional wastewater collection systems. As before, if you'd like to speak to this, please come forward and state your name and your address. Anyone? Last call. All right, we'll close the public hearing. Entertain a motion for Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Hancock, and Commissioner Jones, the second. Mike, you still around, or Joe? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. John? Yeah. Okay.
To put us in our regulations in alignment with what TDEC's been doing for quite a while. And this gets us all on the same page, makes it a much smoother inspection process.
Okay, thank you, John.
I would have nothing to add. That's just a question.
Any questions? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 513-3, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Moving on to appropriations. Resolution 513-4, resolution amending the 2012-2013 General Purpose School Fund operating budget, $275,000 for gasoline and parts from additional BEP funds. Commissioner Langston?
Approval.
Commissioner Little, the second. School Board, 12 yes, 0 no. Education?
5 for, 0 against.
Budget Committee?
Budget was 5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Langston?
Again, this is money needed to purchase additional gasoline parts to end the school year with.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 513-4, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson. Oh. Bob? There we go. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 513-5, resolution amending the 2012-2013 General Purpose School Fund operating budget, $242,000, video cameras from fund balance.
Second.
Commissioner Barnwell and Commissioner Langston, second. School Board, 12 yes, 0 no. Education Committee,
5 yes, 0 no.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Langston.
Again, these are cameras to be put on all of our school buses. We have a lot that's in disrepair, some parts that can't be gotten, and we'd ask your approval of this.
Commissioner Danner?
Am I on? When this first came up, I just have a complaint and I guess a request. We're asking Dr. Looney for favors. If in the future, when you have a resolution like this, it does make it sound like it was just for repairs of broken cameras, but how many new cameras are you purchasing on buses that never had them before? What percentage of this money is for buses that never had them before that apparently now need them?
I honestly can't give you a percentage just off the cuff. All of our buses, first of all, do not have cameras. I think only about a third of our cameras have buses. I would say the ones that have been purchased in the last couple of years are the ones that have adequate cameras.
And are we talking 3 cameras per bus? Was
Yes,
that what you
ma'am.
said? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. One in the front, one in the back, and one on the door.
Okay, so, I mean, this is just a lot of money, and I struggle with that you have 3 resolutions tonight that add up to almost $1 million of sort of unintended or unanticipated funds. And I know there are folks here in the room that would like to see money spent from your budget on other areas, and I appreciate that this is going to come from your own budget. And so I'm sure it'll pass, but I think I'm not going to support it because I would rather you see you spend that money in the classroom items rather than on 3 cameras per bus that up until now haven't had them, and we really haven't had any problems.
Commissioner Barnwell?
Yes, Dr. Looney, this was basically based on a recommendation from the consultant we had study our security, wasn't it?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Push your button. Yes, okay.
Wrong button.
Commissioner Jones?
I'll commend Dr. Looney and the Transportation Department. If anybody hadn't seen the pictures of the bus wreck that just happened recently, we are buying decent buses that hold up. So I'll commend the Transportation Department on that. And as far as this is a safety concern, whether it's the bus driver or kids throwing stuff out the windows, anything like that. So I would ask all of you to support it. When we're dealing with safety of drivers, other people in the community, the kids, I mean, we've got to take in consideration safety.
Any other discussion? See none, you ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 513-5, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms.
One
Sanders.
confirmation. Commissioner Hester. Thank you.
We're good to go. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Okay. 20 yes, 1 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 513-6, resolution amending the 2012-2013 general purpose school budget, $240,000 for additional special education expenses from unappropriated fund balance. Commissioner Langston?
Move approval.
Second.
Commissioner Bethard? School Board, 12 yes, 0 no. Education?
5-4, 0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Langston.
This is money needed in this account to finish services that are committed to for until the end of the school year.
Okay. Commissioner Jones? Go ahead. Oh, okay, all right.
Do I need to erase it, or do you need to?
We'll take care of it. I'm sorry. Commissioner Danner?
Just what percentage of this is for gifted?
Ms. Danner, the expenses in this relate to high-cost students that we're unable to serve. The expansion of the gifted program is in the proposed budget. So none of this is for gifted. These are for students that require care outside of Williamson County schools.
Any other discussion? I see none. If you're ready to vote on Resolution 513-6, if you're in favor, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution 513-7, resolution amending the 2012-13 general purpose school budget. Excuse me. $456,985 for an instructional salaries from unappropriated fund balance. Commissioner Langston.
Move approval.
Commissioner Smith, the second. School Board, 12 in favor, 0 opposed. Education Committee.
3 in favor, 2 opposed.
Budget Committee.
5-4-0 against, as amended. Amended was down to, we moved it down to $25,000. This is what I was speaking to Dr. Looney about earlier.
Okay. Explanation, Commissioner Langston. And then
This was money indicated that was needed to hire 2 teachers mandated by the state for the end of the school year, and then other educational needs in regard to teachers.
Did you want to offer the amendment, Ernie?
Yeah, I'll move it. I'll move, put it on the floor. I'll move it for the amendment.
And you're amending the amount down to $25,000, is
Correct.
that
That's what
correct?
it was.
That's proper amendment. Who was the second? Commissioner Barnwell's the second. Any discussion on the amendment? Commissioner Herbert?
Dr. Looney, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I know in September, after the numbers came in, y'all were 300 students short of which you originally projected. But since that time, how many students has come to the school district? Is it more than that 300?
Yes, ma'am. I don't have an account tonight, but we continue to receive students on a regular basis. We've received students as late as this month. So,
I guess my question is, did y'all just not originally put enough money in the budget for the teachers, or why is it short?
yes, ma'am. I think that's a correct statement. We're $398,533.60 short on the salary projections for the teachers that are currently under contract in Williamson County. That includes their salary, FICA, retirement, and medical.
But was it budgeted incorrect, or more students, or were they hired at a higher rate, or
Well, what we do is when I can't say it was budgeted incorrectly. I think we budgeted correctly, but let's say we budget the average teacher compensation to be $60,000 as an example. Well, if we hire someone with more experience or more degrees than that, then they're going to cost more. And so in this particular line item, we're $398,000 short of meeting the contracted amount that we have for teachers. So it's not a matter of whether we pay it or not. We've got to pay it. They're under contract. This would allow us to put the right amount of money in the appropriate line items to pay what we're legally contracted to do. And so, this commission could say no, and then what would happen is at the end of the year, the county would have an audit finding because we would have spent more money than we would have had in that line.
I guess what my question is just why is it?
I think this
Almost
year is an
$500,000
anomaly,
low.
honestly. I think we budgeted very tightly to try to get the budget to a point where we can do business. We've had conversations about that line item always having extra money in it, and we've said all year long that's not going to be the case this year. We just shaved it a little bit closer than we needed to.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just going to comment that I voted against the amendment when it was offered in Budget Committee, not because I was opposed to the 2 teachers, but I was comfortable with the original resolution, and Dr. Looney certainly has explained it. When you budget for a certain number of positions in June or July, and then you do your hiring from August all the way through, in this year's case, May, then you're going to have some variation, and perhaps they did, for budget purposes, cut it too close. But the budgeted positions were the ones that we approved. They've been filled, but it's just that the cost of filling them is not exactly what was budgeted back about a year ago. So that was my vote against the amendment, although I voted to approve the resolution as amended.
Commissioner Dwight Jones?
I guess my question is just concerning where'd we come up with 25,000, or what's the 25,000? What's it cover? What got shaved off, or, I mean, I guess
I can speak to
budget
that.
or you or whoever.
I'll be glad to address that, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Commissioner Williams?
That was one of the things that Dr. Looney and I were talking about earlier. There are two requests in this resolution. One is for 2 teachers for 30 days that was needed to end up the school year. And the other request was the addition. And it broke down in the budget committee about why didn't we have 2 resolutions. And Dr. Looney has already assured this body that in the future there'll be 2 resolutions. So that $25,000 was, I think, actually, the dollar amount may have been $18,000 or something like that, to fund those 2 teachers for 30 days. And so that was the reasoning for that.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Commissioner Ricky Jones?
I was going to ask the same thing, but Dr. Lenny, which 2 elementary schools are these teachers being added to? Kenrose and?
I heard a bird say Kenrose and Lipscomb, so I believe that to be true.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Little?
Dr. Lenny, what is the total amount of money that's needed? Because the figures you're mentioning now are not quite identical to what was in this resolution initially. If you put the 2 together, what are you actually needing?
Yes, sir. Leslie, the figures that you've given me, is that accurate? I mean, on the page, that one pager? Okay. Right. We believe that the correct figure, total figure, is $412,090.87. Part of the reason for the adjustment is relating to the 2 teachers that were hired. One of them was hired on April the 12th. Another was hired on April the 16th. We calculated their medical benefits, but have learned that they don't qualify for medical benefits and therefore can back that out now. So the total figure that we believe to be accurate is $412,090.87. And what that would do is it would allow us to pay out all the contracts for all the teachers that are currently legally employed in Williamson County Schools for this fiscal year.
Thank you. Can I offer an amendment to Ernie's amendment?
Yes, you may.
I would like to amend Ernie's amendment to this $412,090.87.
Second.
Commissioner Smith, the second. Any discussion on the second amendment? I see none. Are you ready to vote on the second amendment?
I have to enter that. Do you want me to enter it? Or do you want a voice vote?
Jeff says we need to enter it.
Okay.
I want to apologize for my cough, but the more I talk, the worse it gets, so we're,
Just for a moment of levity, if I could be issued a scooter for the number of times I'm taking trips up here tonight, I would greatly appreciate it.
is that a motion?
I am a disabled veteran. Maybe the VA would give me one.
Make sure you get your 60 minutes a day.
Yes, sir.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
You ready? All right. Commissioner Barnwell?
Yeah, I would just like to, for a point of clarification for Commissioner Herbert, a couple weeks ago, Dr. Looney told me we were actually 205 students below our projection from last budget period. This budget period, we missed it by 205 students, so we're below the projection for teachers last year.
To this amount. So, yeah.
Or for students, excuse me.
Any other discussion? So conferring with the attorney, this amends the amendment. So the first amendment was on for $25,000. Now we're voting to amend the First Amendment to $412,090.87. So we all on that, good with that? So you ready to vote on the amendment to the amendment? If you're in favor, push your yes button and confirm. Sorry, Linda, I got ahead of you. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Linda. Mr. Anderson.
17 yes, 4 no.
Resolution passes. No, the amendment to the amendment passes. So now we're voting on the amendment. And the new amount of the amendment is $412,090.87.
So, are we not, are we on this now, or?
Well, let's see, where are you?
Do I need to enter some,
At this point, you've only amended the amendment, so now you would be voting on the amendment, which is now the new amount of $412,090.80. If that passes, then you would vote on the resolution as amended.
There's a judge in the room.
That's where we are.
so I need to enter a new, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
Okay. Is that gonna be right? Or do I?
That's correct. He said we're good. So you ready to vote on the amendment? And we're amending the Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. If you're in favor of the amendment, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
18 yes, 3 no.
The amendment passes. Now we're back to the main resolution as amended. So any discussion on the main resolution as amended?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Superintendent, I'm going to vote for that scooter for you. We owe this money. There's no way around that. Either there's an audit finding or we pay, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay,
Or we breach our contract with teachers.
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Good. All right. You ready to vote on Resolution 513-7 as amended? If you're in favor, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
20 yes, 1 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 513-8, resolution appropriating $113,033 in the 2012-2013 Extended School Program Fund for additional expenses through end of the year. Commissioner Langston?
Move approval.
Commissioner Little, the second. School Board felt 12 in favor, 0 opposed. Education Committee,
5-4, 0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Langston.
This is a self-supporting fund, and this money is needed to carry the program through to the end of the school year.
Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 513-8, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 513-12, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 juvenile services budget by $15,000. Revenues to come from unappropriated county general funds received from participant fees. Commissioner Hancock?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Cook, the second. Law Enforcement Committee,
5 in favor, 0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hancock.
Yes, this is money that we collect, $125 per day for juveniles that come from other areas, and we're putting this in so it can be used for supplies and materials for the juvenile court, juvenile services.
Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 513-12, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution transferring $200,000 between major categories within the 2012-13 Williamson County Sheriff's Department budget. Commissioner Hancock.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Little, the second. Law Enforcement,
5 in favor, 0 against.
Budget Committee.
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Hancock.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, the medical costs for the jail has exceeded the budgeted amount, and there was enough in the patrol division, I believe it was, no, field division, excuse me, to transfer into the jail division and have enough money to cover those medical expenses for the remainder of the budget year.
Thank you, Commissioner Hancock. Any discussion? Commissioner Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I may, have a question for the sheriff. Sheriff, I appreciate you bringing this to us. I believe it was 2 years ago, may have been last year, but regardless of which, where we have increased the fees for the inmates for their medical care.
Yeah.
I know it was only a drop in the bucket. Has it helped at all? Is it something that we need to readdress in the future?
It has helped, Commissioner. However, most of these are from indigent people in the jail who doesn't have the money. We've had an exorbitant amount this year, in particular looking at, I had her pull some of the figures just so the commission would know. One was a surgery on a hand, $14,000, a cancer patient who had $27,000, heart was $10,000, attempted suicide was $48,000. Person with seizures was $50,000. Person who stabbed himself in the abdomen was $79,000. Another cancer, $23,000. Total $315,000 is what it was. Our health partners' estimate has gone up this year. Clinical Solutions, Miller Medical, Corvell, who does our pre-screening and everything. So we've just had a larger number this year than we did last year. Luckily, the state of Tennessee took 40 inmates the other day to state prison, so that's going to help considerably to get those out also.
Okay. Thank you, Sheriff.
Any other questions?
I got one.
For the sheriff? Sheriff, if I may, is some of this money from the SROs we approved?
No.
Okay. Who? Oh. Commissioner Williams?
Sheriff, I just really want to go on the record, but I don't think a lot of people realize this. These state prisoners that you're having to hold, you're getting paid by the state $36 a day.
Right.
It's actually costing you how much a day?
I think it's about $78, $79.
So it's costing us double just to hold the state prisoners because they won't take them or can't take them.
Hadn't taken them in the past, yes.
but we were able to get 40 of them.
Well, I think it's important to educate the public for that, because that's a debt that the taxpayers are having to eat, because the state's not coming through with it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I think I misspoke. You asked me, did it come from the school resource?
Well, we'd appropriated some money.
It did. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, it did. It's out of the revenue that we did not spend on the school resource officers because we didn't get them hired quick enough. So it's money that's come from that, yes. I'm sorry.
It's my understanding the schools have not signed that contract, and if they don't, we just don't have those school resource officers.
Oh, I think everything's been signed. We've got school
Oh, okay.
resource officers in a lot of the schools right now.
Okay,
Yeah, we've already put them in the schools.
all right. Dwight Jones?
I guess Ernie kind of stole my question a little bit, but I guess that was my question too. Do we need to try to petition the state to get more money for the state inmates to try to help, I guess, balance?
Commissioner, they raised the amount this year, the governor did. He put, I don't remember exactly how many million in, and they have committed to try to do that each year. However, when you divide it among the 95 counties, it raised the rate from $33 to $36 is what it raised the rate from in Williamson County.
Any other discussion? I see none.
Sheriff, are we allowed to deny those? Inmates?
The last sheriff that did it chained them to a fence in Memphis and was indicted in federal court.
All right. Well, we like you, Sheriff. We'd prefer to keep you around for a
We're
little
not going to
bit.
be chaining inmates to a fence.
Have you got room at your house?
No, but Bob does.
All right, you ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 51313, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change, Commissioner Langston, did you have a comment? No. Oh, okay. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51315, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 Sheriff's Office budget by $5,278, revenues to come from other local revenues. Commissioner Hancock?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Jones, the second. Dwight Jones. Law Enforcement Committee,
6 in favor, 0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hancock.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, our law enforcement, our sheriff's department conducts a training, their training division, a training class program for in-service for other agencies. And they charge a fee to those agencies. And these revenues will be coming out of those fees, and they'll go into expenditures for the training and in-service training.
Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 51315, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51317, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 Parks and Rec budget by $79,676.63, revenues to come from miscellaneous donations.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Cook, the second. Let's see, Parks and Rec Committee. Commissioner Hester?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
What
That was
did-
4-0 against.
Okay. Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hester.
Yes, sir. This is a resolution that's appropriating and amending the Parks and Rec budget. There are some donations that were received. That's where the revenues are coming from, and they're being reallocated. These donations include $10,000 from the Tennessee Football Incorporated, $500 from Darrell Honda, Volvo, and $15,000 from the Williamson County Soccer Association. And I ask for you to vote for this.
Any questions? I see none. If you're ready to vote, if you're in favor of Resolution 51317, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Okay, 21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51325, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 Williamson County Library budget by $12,798 to reimburse the Highway Department budget for paving expenses at the Fairview Library. Revenues to come from unappropriated county general fund balance. Commissioner Barnwell?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Jones, the second. Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Barnwell.
Yeah, the library board was 5-4-0 against also. This is a project that needs to be done to correct a potential safety problem out there with the parking lot.
Okay. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 51325, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Betsy,
Commissioner Hester,
yours didn't take. That's all right. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51327, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 library budget by $31,854.64. Revenues to come from miscellaneous donations. Commissioner Barnwell?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Langston, the second. Library Board?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Barnwell.
Yes, this is funds received basically through the Library Foundation and the city of Franklin, and it's the accounting of it so that we can spend the money.
All right. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 51327, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51328, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 Sheriff's Office budget by $40,000, revenues to come from reserve funds. Commissioner Hancock?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
6-0 as amended.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
And Commissioner Hancock, you want to make that amendment?
I think
Chairman, I'll be glad to make the amendment.
Oh, okay.
It's on your desk. Replace the first whereas in its entirety with the following: whereas pursuant to Tennessee Code annotated 821-401 I3B, the $2 security enhancement fee can be reserved for courtroom security purposes and.
All right, proper
Second.
motion.
Second.
Commissioner Hancock, second. Any discussion on the motion? I see none. Linda, you ready? So we're voting on the amendment of Resolution 51328. If you're in favor of the amendment, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wish to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
All right, the amendment passes. Now we're back to the main resolution as amended, 51328. Any discussion on the resolution as amended? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 51328 as amended, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote. Ms. Anderson?
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes as amended. Resolution 5-1329, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 clerk and master Chancery Court budget by $3,000, revenues to come from reserve account. Commissioner Williams?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Brockman, the second. Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Williams.
This is a transfer between line items for $3,000 for technology to update the software in clerk and master's office.
All right. Any questions? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 5-1329, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Jeff? Jeff, yours didn't take. There we go. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 5-1330, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 Veteran Services budget by $520, revenues to come from memorial brick pavers. Commissioner Williams?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Brockman, the second. Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Williams.
This is for these, out at the Memorial Park for the bricks, and the money's already come in. This is a transfer to pay for installing them.
Any questions? I see none. Oh, Commissioner Hayes?
I just want to remind everyone of the memorial service, Memorial Day at the Veterans Park at 10 a.m., I believe is the time.
And I'd like to add to that, a special speaker, Commissioner Grinder, Veterans Affairs, is going to be there. I understand she's a real interesting lady, retired, I think, a full bird colonel, and her first name is Minnie Bears. So she's a full-blooded Indian, and I look forward to hearing her speak. So,
What time is it? It's 11?
no, 10.
10.
10.
10.
You know, get there early to get, it's festival seating, so get a good seat. So, it's always enjoyable. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 5-1330, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed? Your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote. Ms. Anderson?
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 5-1331, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 county clerk's budget by $7,500 for additional postage, revenues to come from unappropriated county general funds. Commissioner Williams?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Brockman, the second. Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Williams.
There has been an increase in people renewing through the mail, and it's an additional $2 fee, and they need to, for the postage, $7,500, and this Ms. Anderson's sitting right here, and I dare anybody to vote no.
Anybody top that? So, ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 5-1331, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Brian? John?
2 months.
Okay. Anybody wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no. No comment, thank everyone.
Next, we have late file resolution 5-1333, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 Health Department budget by $4,000, revenues to come from donations. Commissioner Bethard?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Little, the second. Public Health Committee,
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Bethany.
And these, thank you, Mr. Chairman. These are donated funds that were collected at a walkathon that was held at Pinkerton Park. I understand 2,900 participants were involved and logged some 5 million minutes, if memory serves, which is enough to get me winded just reading it.
Very good. Any questions? I see none. You ready to vote? Resolution 5-1333. If you're in favor, push the yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution. All right, we'll take 5 minutes. Okay, take a 5-minute recess. One, resolution appropriate authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to execute a license agreement with the state of Tennessee, acting through the Department of Transportation for use of state-owned property to access, improve, and maintain a county public park. Commissioner Hester?
Parks and Rec was 5-4-0 against.
Yeah, we need a
You
motion.
what?
Make-
Okay, let's get it on the floor. Let's do that.
Second.
Excuse me. Move for approval.
Mr. Bain, the second. All right, Highway Commission was 5-4-0 against. Parks and Rec Committee,
We were 5-4-0
all right.
against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hester.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This refers to the Springs property, which we acquired from the city of Franklin in 2007. And this is a lease agreement, a license agreement with the state of Tennessee, acting through the Department of Transportation. We do need to have proper access to the Springs property and also wish to keep it maintained and improved. This will be a passive park, and it has the potential to have a lot of educational value, and just to see where the city of Franklin used to get its water supply years ago. I ask for your approval.
All right. Any questions? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 5-13-1, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 5-13-9, a resolution setting the Williamson County Hotel Motel tax rate for the fiscal year 2013-2014. Commissioner Danner.
I forgot I was on tax committee. Move for approval?
Second.
Tax Study Committee.
Oh, I don't have it up. It was,
3-4.
yeah, 3-4-0 against.
Budget Committee.
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Danner.
We're just resetting the rate that we always have.
All right.
Yep, continuing.
Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 5-13-9, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote at this time? Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 5-13-10, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into an interlocal agreement with the city of Franklin concerning the collection of municipal property taxes. Commissioner Langston?
Move approval.
Commissioner Little, the second. Tax Study Committee? Commissioner Danner?
Okay.
Oh, Or-
Am I chairman of tax committee or?
You're vice chairman.
Okay.
Vice chairman.
Oh, okay. I was like, I know I just became chairman of HR, but I was like, did I become chair? Did I miss that? Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So do we need to move
Tax
for,
study.
move for approval first, right? No?
Well, we've already got it
Oh,
on
we've already
approval.
got
Yeah.
it. Okay, 3, 4, 0 against.
Yeah. Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
Travis.
explanation, Commissioner Langston.
Yes, this is an agreement that's been reached between our trustee, Mr. Davis, and the city of Franklin that would allow Mr. Davis to collect the property tax for the city of Franklin, I believe at $4 per parcel, and he believes, and that should be sufficient to cover the cost of doing it. And I would ask for your approval.
Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 51310, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51311, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into an interlocal agreement with the city of Brentwood concerning the collection of municipal property taxes.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Cook? Cook, Commissioner Chalafant, the second. Tax Study Committee, Kathy?
I'm assuming 3, 4, 0 against.
Right on. Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Cook.
This resolution is exactly the same as the one before, except it's with the city of Brentwood. And they have not voted on it yet, but they will, and there were no problems with them doing it, except they hadn't officially had their vote.
And I
So
think
we're
they're-
gonna
I think
vote on
they're
this
doing that
tonight.
I think they're doing that tonight, right.
Yes, their second meeting. They
Oh.
meet twice a month.
Oh, okay. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 51311, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Got one confirming here.
Lou? All right, now, record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Thank you. 21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51314, resolution authorizing the county mayor to execute a contract between the state of Tennessee Department of Transportation in Williamson County for a trash collecting grant for fiscal year 2013-2014. Commissioner Hancock?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Cook, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
5 in favor, 0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Hancock.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this just allows the county mayor, gives the county mayor the authority to negotiate an agreement with the State Department of Transportation so that it would make us eligible for the trash collecting grant. So really good thing.
Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 51314, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson. Oh. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Thank you. 21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51316, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into a long-term lease agreement with the Nolensville Historical Society. Commissioner Green,
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Property Committee,
4-4-0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Green or
Yes,
Commissioner Little?
the Nolensville Historic Society has demonstrated under two one-year lease plans that they have a plan in place to renovate the old, what we call the old school, which is, but they have demonstrated they've replaced the gym floor, they've refinished all the floors inside, they've painted and what have you, and it demonstrated to the county
under the terms of the lease, that they are interested in continuing this with a 5-year lease and with 3 possible 5-year leases after that for a total of 20 years.
All right, Commissioner Little, you want to add anything?
Just ask that you support it.
Okay. Any questions? I see none. You in favor of Resolution 51316? Push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51318, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into an agreement in warranty deed and all other documentation with the Tennessee Department of Transportation for the sale of property and easements to be used in the realignment of Long Lane and for the installation and maintenance of a water line. Commissioner Hester?
Move for approval.
Second. Commissioner Hancock, the second. Property Committee,
4-0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hester.
Yes, sir. This is a resolution authorizing our county mayor to enter into an agreement, a warranty deed, and all other documentation with TDOT, Tennessee Department of Transportation. There's just going to be some property realignment, and this is just for installation and maintenance of a water line in the Long Lane area there. And you have a lovely map enclosed here. I ask for your approval.
Any questions? Commissioner Brockman?
Well, I know that Long Lane is not a state road, so it's that property that does TDOT own that hill? Is that their property?
Roger.
I'm just curious. I miss property, so, sorry.
Mr. Chairman, as many of you know, they're doing a lot of work out on the Paytonsville Road intersection. And Commissioner, when the intersection is finally finished, if you go just east of there was 2 truck stops,
Yes.
now there's 1.
Okay.
The long lane that runs in front of the Ag Center will be straightened out to eliminate that dog curve. You know, when you go in out there, you have to make a real sharp left. That road is going to be extended back out over the.
Toward the old gas station?
That's correct.
Okay.
And so when they make that straight line, turning off from Paytonsville Road to your immediate left, going down to the Ag Center, then you wind up doing it into a kind of like a V.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would not allow us to do the horse trailers and things that need to take that immediate right.
Okay.
So they're going to make a variance there for us. This one that you're actually voting on is for the water line to be moved over on our property on the ag side, on that side, so they can utilize it too. But that whole intersection is being drawn up.
So is Goose Creek getting widened too? Just curious, for the I-65 interchange?
Part of the Paytonsville Road improvements, it will.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other questions? I see none. If you're ready to vote, Resolution 51318. If you're in favor, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Got it. Anyone wish to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51319, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into an addendum to the long-term operating agreement with Franklin Realco LLC in the city of Franklin concerning the operation of the conference center at Cool Springs. Commissioner Hester?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Cook, second. Property Committee,
4-0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hester.
Yes, sir. This is a long-term operating agreement with the Franklin Realco Limited Liability Company and the City of Franklin concerning the operation of the conference center at Cool Springs. I think you saw in a report earlier that this conference center over the years has brought in something in the area of $2.5 million to the county coffers. I ask for your support.
All right. Commissioner Danner, question?
Yeah, I have a question for the mayor. If you could, and I apologize, I think I understood during the break that this might have been discussed at the property committee meeting, and I'm not on that committee this time, but would this continuation of this agreement preclude us from selling this asset before the long-term agreement ended? And do you foresee us ever having conversations of selling this?
Let me take the last question first. I think most of us, or I would concur, and I want to highlight what Commissioner Hester said too. This is just a continuation of the existing lease. No changes were made to this. It's extending it out for the long-term lease. As you all know, anything beyond 5 years requires your all's permission. The issue of selling it would present probably a challenge at best. Not to say that it couldn't be done, but we're in a partnership with Franklin. We each own half of the conference center. And unless Franklin decides to sell it, then I don't know who we'd sell our half to unless Franklin wanted to, and I can't speak for Franklin on that area. When we originally put this back, and many of the commissioners were here at that time, that area was just beginning to develop, Commissioner, and we were trying to drive some business there. We didn't have a conference center, a meeting room facility, and I'm giving you the history you've heard 100 times. But it has been successful in terms of driving business to the conference center for the use of that area out there, hotel, motel tax, et cetera, et cetera. I think there might be a time that that facility could be offered up for sale, but again, it would be two people trying to sell it as opposed to one. I'm not convinced that today's market that we could get our money back, and we need to understand that, but we've not really put that to test.
Okay.
We should do this so that we can continue on operating, because it is a good function. I understand when that facility is booked, they go to the other facilities in the area, but it's a model many others are using as an example.
Any other questions? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 51319, push the yes button and confirm. Opposed? Your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51320, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to execute a contract with the State of Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation.
Move for
Commissioner
approval.
Commissioner Hester.
Second.
Commissioner Smith, second. Property Committee,
Property Committee, 4-0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hester.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, this concerns a contract that we have with the State of Tennessee, the Department of Environment and Conservation. We understand that currently the cost of emission test is $10, and the fee paid by the State of Tennessee to Williamson County currently is 25 cents per registration renewal. The proposed contract provides that the 25 cents per registration renewal will now be raised to $1 per registration renewal for vehicles. And I ask you for your approval.
Very good. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 51320, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson. Oh, Commissioner.
We got Commissioner Hester.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Record the vote.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51321, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into a long-term agreement with Tennessee Senior Olympics.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Smith, the second. Commissioner Hester, the motion. Parks and Rec Committee,
4 in favor, 0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hester.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've long had an association with the Tennessee Senior Olympics. They love us and they want to continue coming to Franklin. It's a great opportunity for the tourist dollars to be poured into our community for restaurants, hotels, motels. So we would like to execute a sponsor agreement with the Tennessee Senior Olympics, and we will provide them with $23,000. And this will be reimbursed to Williamson County by the Convention and Visitors Bureau in the full amount of $23,000. I ask for your approval.
Commissioner Smith, do you want to comment on this?
Yes, Mr.
Your
Thank you.
co-sponsor.
Some years ago, when the Senior Olympics first came here, the county funded or appropriated some funds through the then tourism effort to support that. When the Convention and Visitors Bureau was organized as it currently is constituted, it assumed the responsibility for that effort. But all during those years, our County Parks and Recreation Department has been expending a lot of time and effort to operate those games at various facilities around the county. And they've done a marvelous job at that. The Convention and Visitors Bureau will continue to help with that event and market it and promote it. But it just, with the recent support of the CVB by this county commission, it seemed appropriate that monies go back to the Parks and Rec Department to help compensate them for their efforts.
Commissioner Hayes, do you want to add anything?
I would just like to add, it's certainly a great thing with our Parks and Rec being such a great partner as they have been with the CVB, and now to take the great leadership that they had already started. It's a wonderful tourism incentive as well as a health plus for all the senior citizens. And we fill up most of the hotels and motels at that time, and the businesses here say they can tell a difference when people are here because they're eating at the restaurants and they're here really enjoying the area, and they keep voting to come back here. So we are very proud of the work they've done and the work Doug and his group, Gordon, and all of them have done.
Very good. Any other comments?
They got money, too.
Yes, they do. They have a good time.
The kids bring their parents, grandparents.
You ready to vote? Resolution 51321. If you're in favor, push the yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Brian, yours didn't take. There we go. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 51322, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into a long-term agreement with the Williamson County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Commissioner Hester,
Move for approval.
Commissioner Smith, second. Parks and Rec Committee,
4-0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hester.
Yes, sir. If I'm not mistaken, is this not the resolution we just voted on? Could I get some help?
Commissioner Smith?
This resolution actually confirms the transfer of the funds from
Oh,
the Convention Visitors Bureau to the county
Okay,
to compensate Parks and Recs Department.
all right.
And that includes a $15,000 amount for the senior games, actually, plus other funds for Parks and Rec to operate the games.
Commissioner Hayes, did you want to say anything to this?
That's fine.
Okay, all right,
It takes both of them to make the complete.
okay. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 5/1322, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time.
Mine's the same way.
Yeah.
Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes.
Thanks again, Judy.
Resolution 5/1323, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to execute a facility use contract with the Tennessee Soccer Club for use of Williamson County soccer fields. Commissioner Hester?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Barnwell, the second. Parks and Rec Committee?
4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Hester.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Tennessee Soccer Club has used the Williamson County soccer fields now for some time. And now we are in an agreement with them to assume some more of the maintenance of the soccer fields. And currently, I believe for this year, if you'll look on page 3, if there is a flat annual fee, it will be $150,000. This fee could be paid monthly, quarterly, and I understand next year that this amount will go up to $155,000, and further adjustments will be made in the years after that. But this is a great way to get our money to maintain these soccer fields.
Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 5/1323, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Commissioner Green? Yep. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 5/1326, resolution to authorize an increase in assessment of fees collected by the Williamson County Animal Control Department.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Hayes,
Second.
Commissioner Beathard, the second. Public Health Committee,
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Beathard. or
Thank you,
Commissioner
Mr.
Hayes.
Chairman, and I believe Doug is here to speak to this resolution if there are any questions. My understanding is this is a nominal increase that would, no. Wrong Doug.
Wrong, Doug.
This nominal increase would still place Williamson County as among the lowest of any adoption rates of any county in the state of Tennessee, and far below those other adoption agencies that are both public and private. The funds do go to the microchip, the vaccinations, and the spade and neutering, and I ask for your approval.
Commissioner Hayes, did you want to add anything?
I might just add that there's been several years since there's been any increase. And if you look across the different areas, Sumner County cat adoption is $70, dog adoption is $100, Metro Nashville $60 and $90, Mount Juliet $75 and $75. So we still are going to be lower than the average. The money does go into the general fund, and then, of course, gets appropriated into the various departments. It is, I think maybe we need to address what was said at the public comment. There is opportunity for people who have their animals proclaimed to be needing to be euthanized to come, and they have, over the years, come quite readily when they could have gone to their own vet. We now take exception to that, and it's either they're subject to be examined by our vets in the discretion of the director, and the majority of times, if they have a constant veterinarian, we have such wonderful veterinarians in this area, most vets don't even charge when they have a patient that is in need of that. So the thought being that we were going to stop the abuse, it doesn't mean that every animal that comes that the person wants it euthanized will get that euthanization. It will mean that it will be subject to our vet's discretion, as well as the director, as well as their vet. So we try to take every ounce of precaution to make sure that our euthanasia rate continues to go down just as it's been doing.
Thank you. Commissioner Danner?
And I'd like to give Doug a chance, if he can come up. I don't have any problem with this resolution. I actually think that it encourages more responsible pet care, but I'm getting a lot of questions on your policy for giving away pets to no-kill shelters versus charging them. And I just thought I would give you the opportunity to go over what your policy is in regards to, I mean, I know we're raising the fees for people who want to purchase them. Does this in any way affect your policy for when you give away pets?
We are raising the fees for the rescue groups as well. I think it's in the resolution. The fees are going up for regular adoptions and for rescues pulling from us.
So you will not be giving away pets for free to rescue
We will
organizations?
still be, like for the rescue wagon program, we will still be sending like dogs out to transport to the Northeast. And then like the rescue wagon, they reimburse us for the cost of like medications and vaccinations and anything like that we do for them. So it's not they don't pay a fee, but they reimburse us for what we did for those animals. Does that answer your question?
So you won't be giving away animals at no cost anymore?
We are going to continue to charge for rescue groups to pull from us. This at a lower rate, though, than what the general public does, because many of those, like the rescue wagon, we do not have to spay and neuter those animals. Their vets do that before they put them up for adoption. So there's a lower cost involved with those animals going. So that's why there's a lower rescue fee now, and there always has been.
Commissioner Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Quick question for you, Mr. Brown. Well, I know that you guys are always working to get as many of the animals adopted. Are there any concerns, even though that these are lower than average fees, are there any concerns that could have a detrimental effect on that we'd actually see fewer animals adopted?
I don't think so. We've looked at it really carefully to try and determine our fees and what the value is that people are getting for it. And if you go get a free dog or cat from wherever and then take it to your vet to have the vaccinations, rabies, spay or neuter, microchip done, even at the rate we're increasing it to, it's still significantly lower than what you could get a free pet and go to your vet and get all those same services done for.
There's no such thing as a free dog.
There is no such thing as a free dog.
Although I've got a cat you can have.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Any other questions? I see none. You ready to vote? Resolution 5-1326. If you're in favor, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 5-1332. Resolution to adopt a procedure contained in the county purchasing law of 1957 to sell surplus property having a value of $1,000 or less without having to seek approval from the county legislative body. Commissioner Williams?
Last but not least, move for approval.
Commissioner Smith, the second. Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Williams.
In January of this year, we asked to be amended so we could take surplus property, $1,000 or less, and to do that, there had to be an amendment signed by the governor. He signed that in April of this year, and it takes 2/3 vote of this body to be able to, for the county mayor to sell surplus property that's worth less than $1,000. Now, if you look at the amendment too, not the amendment, but the public act, it does state that those records have to be kept for 5 years of all these transactions that are taking place.
Ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 5-1332, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Got it. All right. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that concludes our agenda. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Tom Bain back. I appreciate that. I should have done that at first. We're glad you're here, and we missed you. Yeah. Very good. Any other business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Got 21 seconds.